this guy, Orange Liberia, is Liberia's best in the telecommunications sector of this country. We're right here. We consider Joseph K. Jallah of Lofa County. And he's one person here. Let me just try to give you a brief about him quickly. He worked as Deputy Minister of Justice from 2004 to 2009, and Director of Anti-Drug Agency, that's the DA, 1996 to 2001, and as well as Immigration and Immigration Administrator with over 16 years of public service, including serving as teaching assistant and research assistant of the University of Liberia. So he worked with the government to establish the Drug Enforcement Agency in Liberia and became its first director. And of course, Councillor Jallah also served as a consultant on the Decent Work Bill of Liberia, now before the national election, which has passed on anyway. And he also has 15 years of legal experience in drafting as well as civil and criminal litigations. Right? So he has he was admitted as an attorney at law. All right, and in the civil law court in 1994, and to the Supreme Court Bar of Liberia on the 22nd of December 2006. Remember, he's a great man. A Christian with deep sense of love and respect for Muslims. Traditional beliefs as well is part of him, so he's here. So he's right here with us, and a lot of things. And Councillor, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the TBS.
Thank you very much, AB. It's been a long time. I've not been to TBS. Yeah. I can say almost since 1995, since the 2014 election, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, but the TBS was a very great place where we had a lot of thoughts and share, with the Liberian people and the public at large.
Okay. Heated moment it was. All right, it was back then. Anyway, he's referencing our days there at Ashmore Street, Lex of Patrick Hunter and the rest of the guys. Anyway, he right here with us. And Councillor, first of all, would like to start up. You, one person who had been very much deep sense of understanding about Lofa County, and you one person who really had always asked, and you have been petitioned for it and gone through the process, and you have not been successful on those occasions. But let's first start up with understanding. Currently, as we speak, how is Lofa in terms of leadership so far, before we can get on to what we need to do to solve the problem, if there is any?
Well, Lofa is actually on course. However, there's a need for improvement. There's a need to do a little more than what we are, given the place we are in this country. Because Lofa was not only the trustee for social justice, was not only the trustee for peace and tranquility in this country, but was also the bread basket, agriculture-wise. It was also the place of education, and also a high level of discipline. And we need to do a lot to narrow the gap in those areas at this point as we speak. All owing to the fact that we have a civil war in this country, and those things had a great impact. And basically, since the healing process began, some of these areas have been lagging behind in some of the process. So there's a need to pay more attention, and it require new managers.
Require new managers. I like to hear that. The forerunners. I heard about Lofa. You want to hear about a county based upon those people who emanate from these counties. They place the county's flag high. You used to hear about the legs of Dr. Kekrapoto. When you talk about bread basket, yes, agriculture was the basis of Kekrapoto. You had his animal farm and all of those things. And so Lofa used to be in that. You have several of those other political gurus who could now say the sons of Lofa County, they shift and direct the politics of our country. All of those apparently is now missing. Why is that? Why is the broad basket status going off so far? Why? We don't hear about that.
Well, on the bread basket, I think we cannot continue. Those will be some of the area of improvement. We cannot continue to do agriculture the way we did when I was born and then brought up. Agriculture has to take a new dimension. It has to be modernized. Okay, so, and there has to be, a district by district specialty in certain type of crops and production. So basically, if you're going to be having agriculture in modernization, some area will be will be very good at providing, for example, cutting to produce clothes, like the shirts only. Okay. Right now we have a cotton production is based in Cllr district, the headquarters for.
So the shite on you is produced.
Not necessarily, but the cuttings, that come to produce some of the some of the balances, come from the production of cotton. I'm just saying they have just built a headquarters before the outgoing of the last administration. They built a headquarters of cotton production for the country club in Cllr. And those kind of materials have to be done district by district. Some districts will be very much good in rice. Some districts, like for example in Foya, it was a place for the ADA project, which is yet to be taken off the ground. If I thought they're going to revisit that, those are some of the things we need to look at. Then you can go to another district and say they'll be very good at cocoa. Some area will be able to produce, oil palm. So different.
So that's how it used to be, or that's why it ought to be now.
Well, basically, those would be the modernization, the dynamism.
Where you put to the bread basket from? Because I can still find the connect. What made it to have been a bread? Lofa used to be the feeding point of this country. You used to feed people. Is that what it was? Or
that's not what really it was. Yes, that's what it was in terms of what we brought to Monrovia. Because every time you go there, you will bring something that you will share with people. And basically, government production, they have communal farming.
Okay.
Those are mandatory.
Okay.
Communal farming, are things that were mandatory in Lofa. So those things are no longer mandatory.
Oh,
they are now voluntary.
Okay.
So those are some of the things that we need to look into. So communal farming, community project and things used to be mandatory, but right now you tell people to even go and brush the road between one town to the other town. They will say, well, the government will pay.
Yeah, I remember all of the monetary nature.
So
we used to clear.
And also in terms of the agriculture sector, it's not just about production. Agriculture means road connectivity. It also means that we need to have storage facilities, because those days the road was so good you could just wake up in the morning. By evening time in Monrovia, you can bring your food, your product, but some people sleep on the road. So road will be very crucial. Storage will be good if the road. Will be crucial if the roads are not the best. If the roads are not available, you can produce your crops, store them, so that they don't get ripe and spoil in 24 hours or in 48 hours or in 72 hours, until you can get to the market. So those are some of the things that people need to look into.
Wow, that's good. So let's go. You one person. Cllr is where you here from?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. You one person who. In Cllr, and the issue about representation is very much key, and we looking at it from all aspects. You've gone into elections, especially at the level of the Senate, twice, and on those occasions you haven't gotten it, and you still intend to contest.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Why are you consistent about this? Why are you not discouraged? On two fronts, that's enough to discourage anybody. Why are you consistent about this?
Well, you see, it's always good to pursue what you have passion for. Given the road we have traveled in our own journey, and I believe that the people of Lofa need my own contribution in that direction. Because I have been in public service, as you all learned some of them, which need to be updated. Okay, besides some of those things. I served as first member of the board of tax appeal, before I resigned in about 2014. Okay, we were the inaugural group that saw the board of tax appeal to give taxpayer relief for redress. And then I also was able to help to bring about, to put Liberia in the ship with the Chemical Weapon Convention. I was focal person for a long time for the Ministry of Justice. I participated in drafting several legislation. I was a lead person in the Ministry of Justice on all these concessions. Okay, Firestone, Bong Mines, San Darby, you name them. So, when you do all this at the public level, now you can look back now and say, well, let me share some of the experience in different ways.
Okay. And that's why you choose to go there. What is that level of impact? Because the issue about becoming a senator or so forth, you should be in direct touch with the very people that you want to lead. What had been that relationship between you and your people back home? Because most of these services, Renard, is merely urban settled services. the rural settlement. What is that level of connect between you and your people?
Okay, right now, I go up with of other senatorial appetite. I go to Lofa at least twice a year, minimum. I spend my Independence Day there, and I spend my Christmas there. Sometimes I go there for Ramadan, when the Muslims are breaking the Ramadan. So it's like three times in a year.
Okay.
So I stay as close as possible. In fact, when I go to Lofa, I forget the days of the week because of the kind of transaction and activity we have with our people, and the ecosystem, the environment is so nice, you know. So it's something that it will be easier and easier for me.
Okay. So you have let's look at some of the things you have there in terms of investments. With the accession of you're hearing from Cllr, what do you have there?
We have a fertile soil, very good. We have a high forest, you know, for logging. In fact, the railroad that was there, the Chinese were exploiting it a whole lot. They were exporting it to China, or the later on before the government put a stop, so that they can have a better organization to deal with it. So beside the forest, you can do a lot of farming in different areas that can be exported.
So you have farm there? That's what I'm asking. Your personal investment.
Oh yeah,
there.
yes,
What
I
is it
do.
you
I
have
do.
there?
I've been having farm there since President Ellen Johnson administration.
Okay.
You know, one time we went to Lofa for a cabinet retreat, and during the retreat, at the last day, the president said, if you are from this part of Lofa and you don't have a house here, you don't have a farm here, something is wrong with you in my government. So after that meeting, I said, she's talking to us. So after that meeting, I just stayed there. I went back and spent a few days. It was like a weekend. I spent a few days. That was, I think, 2008 or 9. I started my farm right at that time, from 2009. I have an oil palm farm in Lofa, which could be about 25 acres. Okay. And I started last year with another farm, because this farm is in Vayama district. So last year, I started another farm towards Vahon Road from Bulahon. Wow. It's a tri-section. From there you go to Foya, from there you go to Vahon, from there you come out to Monrovia.
Wow, that's good.
Yes,
and the farm
it's
is
right there.
well.
It's right there. Like, it was about 16 acres. We did. Sometimes we do the rice. I get let people go there and harvest. During the farming time, we send people. They go. Some of them they go there to contribute. We give them something. But when the rice is being harvested, I don't see the rice. I don't ask for it.
They just take it.
Yeah, yes.
So you do the planting and all of that. That's good. Yeah, it's good in that way. So
I didn't inherit those farms.
Wow.
Yeah, those are farms that I when I asked for space and I started doing in addition to what other things I do.
Wow, that's good. And people are employed there.
Yeah, well, during the time people go there to help. If you go there for one day, so now they give you X amount. They got their own rate there.
Okay.
Yeah. So now when I send something there, you know, you go, you work today, you get the oil palm was $3 a day. $3 a day you were fed. When we're doing the oil palm in, 2009, or started coming up to this point. So the other farm was just an experimenter for 16 acre of rice farm. So this year we're not gonna do rice farm there. We're gonna be doing crops like edo, potato, yam. Those we'll try to plant and pepper. That's what we're working on right now in that particular area.
Very much good. At least if you're looking at. So now looking at the politics of our country, and these are some of the basic things and people would like to talk about, especially when you have these investments there. Is very much good for your people. And let's go on understanding. You have a current lawmaker there in Cllr who's trying to recontest the seat of that county. And basically, there are a lot of issues that people may talk about, and all of the politics and all of that. What is it that you see at the level of the legislature that can be of direct impact to your people back home?
Well, the way decision is made. For example, they divide resources. They make the budget as to what goes into school, what goes into health, what goes into road, maintenance. Mm-hmm. So everything with the legislature is about the people. Everything they do there is about the people each day and every day. So the way the roads are maintained comes from the legislature. The way the health sector is moving comes from the legislature. The way agriculture is treated comes from the legislature, because they make the appropriation. The way people get me to go to. One thing that really bothered me was our legislature is there. Can you imagine the community college in Vonjaman was paying more than the universal library per credit hours? So that's why sometimes we have a limited assistance for people there. So I had to be paying some post school fee at the community college and paying some at the universal library. And that's how I knew the gap. The students at the community college pay more per credit hour than those at the universal library in Monrovia. You see?
You have. There's something you just said which I'm very much interested in, and I think the public should also. The way the health system of this country looks, you said the legislature should be blamed for that. Whatever the look of the country is, in terms of every other sector, the legislature should. But you have the executive that's supposed to implement, and they are the executors. If they don't do, how can you drag the legislature? How?
Okay, what I meant, and which I should be clarify right here, is that when they go make the budget, when they just make the appropriate for salaries. So they don't have a provision for maintenance of the hospitals in terms of availability of drugs. Sometimes the hospitals are begging for contribution. You will not imagine the other day, the current hospital in Zaza, the staff were on strike for not getting paid. I don't want to say whether up to a year, I'm not sure. Okay. So I was calling around, asking some of our people, in strategic places, I said, what can you do? Because these people were getting assistance from the government through the appropriation of resources by the legislature. Okay, nobody can stop them from thinking that way and helping that way. They have room for county development funds, but it's attached to each person. He will decide what the project will be. One hand, the community decide along with him what the project will be and manage the county development fund. So right now, those are things I'm talking about. Okay, you need to have people-driven decision in some area.
Because once you can appropriate, I'm trying to look for this reason to concord with you. Once you can appropriate, and if the executive was to have some fault on execution, they come back to you for another budget. You can question them that this is what we gave you the last time. You said you were going to do this. This is not happening. How can you now ask for more? These justifications, which obviously take place, especially during budget hearings, to really ask these technical questions, and we don't find that happening. But again, you have numbers. The issue about legislative politics is about numbers.
I agree.
How well are you strong enough to work with people, lobby, the lobbyistic power? It's one thing that our lawmaker needs to make sure. It's not about just talking, but making sure to convince your colleague so that they can start signing with you, and on that, you are winning.
My experience in public service has taught me that if you don't even persuade your boss, you're not going to get your own work properly done. So I'm a man of high degree of persuasion. And my record will show that everywhere I went, I try to bring improvement. The University of Liberia, before I became teaching assistant, the social science program, which you have about 300 students in the class, were a source of problem. Teaching assistant were having a lot of problems. But when we went in there, we worked with the various departments, and there was some level of sanity restored up to this point. Now, at the Ministry of Justice, I was able to push through legislation for establishing a drug enforcement agency, which I did 1 year and never got paid. Because when I in the budget, the law hadn't passed, and when the government were having a budget review, they said they were taking away subsidies. We were getting subsidies as a committee because the drug enforcement agency started as an interministerial committee. So 1 year I would not get paid, but I was running behind the legislation, and I was talking to lawmakers. I was talking to ministries that were involved with the committee, and we all were able to get that done. So, at the Ministry of Justice, I was able to work through many legislation. Even when you go to meeting, even concession review, you cannot negotiate more than your strength. So if you're not persuasive, people will not see your point of view. So I'll be a senator of persuasion. I will not be a senator that will be shouting over the heads of my colleagues. I will be talking to them. If I want something for LOFA, I will have to go to them one by one. I will walk the aisle. This is what Kennedy was one of the most successful lawmakers in the U.S. He passed 4,600 legislation during his lifetime, or he worked to pass 4,600 laws in the U.S. Kennedy, before he died, or before he left. So I will be a senator of persuasion, moving my colleagues, walking across the aisle, whether you are from the Palmers, whether you are from Zwedru, I will respect them and they will respect me. And that's how the decision will be made. So I will not be there saying, I'm one of the best guys around here. That's not going to work.
Okay, you're not going to condemn others. Now, you talk about the issue of the drug law. You've been the first director of that agency that you crafted law for and was passed into, and you said you were on pro bono through all of those periods. Is it what you envisage that's happening today, the drug situation in this country?
Well, they have some assistance coming in now, because like the first time we started our program, the U.S. ambassador took a lot of interest. Okay, the U.S. ambassador went to the office and gave me one ream of paper. Okay, symbolic of the U.S. government interest in the drug program. So, and besides that, when we ratified the 3 conventions, 1961, 1971, and 1988, against narcotic drug and psychotropic substances, the UNDP in Monrovia was able to get 40,000 for us to establish just an office. We were able to establish an office through that program. Then, after that, we also made an enabling law to establish an agency. I was not really a pro bono, but it's just that the government had a decision there was no more subsidy.
Okay.
And then you will not get it, you're not in the budget. So that was a voluntary compulsion. So we went through, sometimes I used to travel a lot. The UNDP, almost every 3 months, we have some kind of a training program, a conference. When I come, whatever I have, I will share with the staff.
And that's what you used to do?
That's what we were doing until the budget was passed at the end of the year. I mean, the law was passed at the end of the year. Then the act came into being. So when it was published, then...
Is it very effective? Publication and all of that. I'm asking because you see the issue about drug use, the abuse. And let's look at the traffickers. We're not talking about the use of it, but the traffickers of the drug. Until they bring, people don't take. And those were some of the issues that people even still talking about it, and they need stringent measures, they need stringent penalties and all of that to be there so that people will be deterred. You think that's the best way to go?
You see, the drug program has several areas. You have the law enforcement, you have operation, you have administration, then you have prevention programs. In prevention program, you have the Ministry of Education, you have Ministry of Health, you have different kinds of ministry involved. Okay, and you have to tackle and work with all of them. But operation side is where people move and make impression. But they should be identifying farms and burning those farms. Okay, so those are the strategies for drug law enforcement. Okay, so sometimes they will complain that the law is weak, yes, but you have the conventions that you ratify. And those convention guys stay for penalties. So, the whole issue about drug program, the rehabilitation center that was destroyed. We have 2 psychiatrists in this country on involved in the drug program. One working for UNDP, one working for Ministry of Health, and he died. Dr. Brent died. So first of all, they should try to get training for psychiatry, and people who will be involved with treatment programs. Okay, you got treatment, you got prevention, you got law enforcement. So those are all the areas that have to be tackled simultaneously. Okay. But if you emphasize on...
How do you treat people who are yet in the street? You yet treat them, they are not like people who go to class, come back. You still have to, you have to really, really exclude the people from the community.
Okay, anyway... Let me just say this because I didn't want to use my senatorial discussion for all the... But at the same time...
It's good because that's why you should be pushing if you were to get down there. These are things that...
Yes, but you see, the point here is that, as I said, if you have a treatment... first of all, you want to do prevention. Prevention is awareness in the school. Don't get in contact with drugs. How that impact will come in It's kind of the treatment, the prevention program you're going to have in the schools, in different communities. There are a lot of, at the time there was community group organization for drug program. I don't hear them. You have MADA, you have Luada, and you have FOCA. One of them now is working with FDA, you see. So there are community-based organizations that we were collaborating with, that are working in the area of prevention. And then we were just there to get the police, and the law enforcement people doing the law enforcement thing. We were trying to work on several legs simultaneously. So basically, it's to first of all prevent people from getting in contact with drugs. Because study has shown that only 1 out of 4 persons who get in contact with drugs get out of it.
So, I mean, the higher possibility of people getting out of drugs.
And the drug nowadays is stronger because the cannabis sativa that is grown today is 4 times stronger than the one during our time.
Wow.
You see, because they go through different kinds of processing. So it's a lot of areas that people need, to pay attention to. It's not just the law enforcement side of it. But
so it has no law-making attachment to it now? Because the law is already passed, you have...
Well, all we have is just a general enabling legislation.
Okay.
The health law also has some portion there that you can use. Okay. But you can still go and have a comprehensive legislation using the convention and domesticating them into a law.
Okay.
We have already ratified those conventions. The convention on production, cultivation, as well as the question of navigating, through and having psychotropic substances. Those are mind-altering drugs.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Do you know people who are contested? Because until you can identify your opponent's strength or weaknesses, you cannot help yourself out. The current senator is already known. The last time we hosted Brandon Samuka here, former defense minister, we hosted Cole Bangalu here. We'll try to get others if we can. And several other names we are hearing up in the county. Everyone is popping up. Does that really worry you?
No, you see, right now, I think from the listing, there are about 9%, in that local race.
Okay.
But again, the way we market ourselves, it matters. For example, the experience we bring to the table, the dynamism we bring to the leadership, the public will see. Okay, so for somebody like me who went the first time in the race and came into a third portion, then the last time I came second, I know where the lapses were, and I can work on those.
So you are climbing up the ladder bit by bit in your defeat.
Yes,
you were third, you now come to second now. So that first now you're going to.
The first one we're fighting for now.
Yeah, you have tasted defeat any in third.
Yeah.
You learned the improvement any in second. So you believe that there were some errors along the way. Were there compromises along the way?
Yeah,
Did you have to compromise?
Yeah, for example, when the result came out first, I did a general complaint to Election Commission. But Election Commission will never agree with you. They will always maintain their position. So I took the matter to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled in our favor and sent us to go and do a recount in targeted area that we listed. We went back, Election Commission, the same old problem. So we came back to the court. So while when we got to the Supreme Court, that was the time the elders from Lofa called us for a meeting in Vonjima. The elders of the whole county, they had a traditional council group. They called us to a meeting in Vonjima. And during the meeting, they asked us to shake hands and asked me to forget about it because Sandazago is my brother. We all come from the same background or the same kind of people. So they asked me to forget it. That the man already in the seat, he had been there almost something like 6, 7, 8 months. Yeah, so and it's from that case, from that ruling of the Supreme Court, from our case, the Supreme Court decided that when there is a contestation against any candidate, that person will not take their seat
until the matter is resolved.
Until they resolve the matter.
Yeah,
so at least those are improvements in the electoral process. So sometimes you disagree and you try to work, but you're not going to do it by shooting people in the head, but you try to go through the other process that will give due process and try to leave something. So at least now, when you complain about any election, they will hold on. The person will not take his or her seat until the Supreme Court feel that the matter is.
That's good. So Are you concerned about sessional politics or regional politics there? Because you're from Cllr.
Yes, sir.
Chengma is from Foya, and Zago is from
Central Upper Lofa.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Cllr hasn't had a senator yet?
For a long time, almost 20 years or 22 years. So we'll be glad they can have that sympathy on us because it's not by law. So, and we're not going to count on that too much. Mm-hmm. We'll count on the fact that we'll cut across out of the line. For example, I'm from Cllr, but all of the people who brought me all in life come from Zaza.
Oh, okay.
You see, my stepfather, when I got from high school, the man who put me back and went to school came from Zaza. He just died. Okay, and he got a lot of family. It's a big family in Boye. Besides that, the man who sent me to law school come from Zaza. Okay, so basically, and he's still living. He's a very strong person.
So you are the son of all.
Yeah.
So he just got across.
And he had decided this time he gonna support me.
Okay.
The last time he did not come in close to it, but he said he will open to support me this time.
Okay.
So basically, there are a lot of people we're talking to across. Across the districts, and there are a lot of good way there. We're gonna be taking advantage of.
Okay. Councillor Joseph K. Jallah here with us on senatorial aspirant in Lofa County. So let me just try to get to the lines, interact with you callers here. At this brief time, we have 7 more minutes to go, and we can just manage it quickly out of here. Right here on this dial on Truth 96.1 FM. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, how are you doing, Chief?
Councillor, I want to appreciate you, and most especially certain thing you said in your exposé that when you go at the national legislature, you will not be filibuster, or neither you will not be someone that will pretend to be that you know all. You working collaboratively because and the horse of parliament is the horse of ideas is best to need to respect each other because guess what? If you don't do that, how can you appeal to the conscience of your colleague? How can you collaborate? Because you're not insulting today and then tomorrow you expect me to support your views in a solution that you will bring up to. So I think if many are on legislators who understand this and stop that sharing and work collaboratively to some extent that this country will change the destiny of this country.
Okay. All right, Tosia, thank you. 0775-373657, the numbers to call. Thanks so much, my brother, for your contribution. Let me try to get on to the next caller. 0775-373657, the numbers to call. Right here on this dial on Truth 96.1 FM. Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, Eddie.
Good morning. How's everything with you?
Good morning to your studio guest. The name is Akwe Waiting, and I joined you this morning from District 4. I listened to your studio guest, and he spoke lengthily. And when he spoke about the issue of where he compromised a situation with Steve Zago, for me, it speaks, patriotism, and I must applaud him for it, and I must connect him. So all I can say to him, as he's canvassing to excel to the level of his senatorial position, I want him to critically look at some of these skills in government and capitalize on them to work on them. And I wish him all the very best.
Okay, thank you.
For having me.
Thank you, Okwe. 0775-373657, 2 more calls, and then we'll be able to close in here. News is coming up next at 10 o'clock. 0775. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah, my name is Shaggy from a joint conversation from District 6.
Yeah, go on, Flomo.
Let me appreciate the councillor studio for his deliberation. And let me say that he keep his head up hard that comes December, he will become senator in that county because looking at the city senator working in the county is not appreciated by the people there. So as what he said, he came third, second, and now he wanted to be the first. And I assure you that we, the people from Lofa County, will vote him, and he will become the senator of Lofa County come December. So, Mr. Councillor, I just want you to keep your head up high and live to the people, and hope and pray that everything will work out.
All right, the last caller, 0775-373657. The last caller. We'll have more of these interactions with people, especially when the election draws near. Hello, the last caller. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, how you doing, Chief?
Good morning to your studio guest. My name is Patrick. I call from Kiporo.
Yeah, Patrick, where?
I'm a person from I wish the councillor well. There is something that drew my attention to the conversation that has to do with the communal farming. It's essential that these days the young people will want one government to do the farming or one government to invest the road. I think it is wrong. Politicians now should tell the citizens that look, this is what happened before, because I grew up in the fire and then when they had this government fund, it was military that every Friday, everybody.
Wow. All right, Patrick, we can close there. Thank you so much. And yeah, okay, Councillor, you can just close now. Time. Let's go over.
Okay, thank you very much, AB, for the opportunity of resumption with my time with 96.1 for the TBS. It was a place of it was a Saturday of learning and imparting knowledge through information. Mm-hmm. And I think basically the first caller is concerned about how I'm going to use my skill to work with my colleagues. How am I going to do that? You know, everything in life has to go with procedures, and has to go with friendliness and frankness. Mm-hmm. And then you will always ask people, this is the issue at hand, what their interest is, and how it borders on your own interest. And if there's something that is people impact related program, you tell them that, look, you need this, but my people need it more than you. Mm-hmm. And you give reason. And sometimes people will say, give me this time, and next time I will give it to you.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so, but the other caller, I want to thank them for the appreciation, and I can assure them that we are together on this, and we'll continue to work on it, and we'll see victory in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Joseph K. Jallah, right here with us, representing Mr. Senatorial aspirant and in Lofa County. We really will follow these politics and the politicians, and it's very much important we keep you on course with it. Like we said, Truth FM is the only so far that reaches out to most of you in a rural area. So we think that we're not going to let you down. Keep praying with us, and we'll get there. Thank you so much for being there. Do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.